Great. So we're going to look at the differences, similarity between vibration and oscillation and rocking. But first off, quick question: what's the difference between vibration and rubbing, rubbing and friction?
Rubbing is just rubbing, sort of like in one direction, whereas vibration, you're making, your hands tend to be a bit like this, aren't you?
Okay. Is it always in one direction if you're rubbing?
No, I suppose.
I'm not sure it can be in one direction if I'm rubbing. I guess it could. But keep going. Anybody else?
I suppose you
I
could
like it.
do around.
Okay.
Yeah.
You go one direction, aren't you? You can't go all down back, but you can actually too.
Okay. Anybody else? What's vibration?
Vibration is quite
It's
fast.
funny because we're all doing it, right? What is it? What do you do?
What do you do?
What do you do? You put your hand on?
Yes, you put your hand on.
Yeah?
And then you move it. I would say a vibration is more of a fast movement initially, and then it will slow down.
Is that vibration?
That's
Right.
Yeah.
So what's different between? What's different
That's
between?
rubbing.
Right. What's different?
pressure.
Pressure.
Pressure?
Yeah.
And what else?
Vibration? You'll put your you're using pressure and then moving. And movement.
Okay. So
Pressure,
you're
movement.
staying in one spot,
Yeah.
right?
I would say it's
Okay.
vibration.
So we're just checking what you understand by all these different terms. So if you're doing vibration technique, your hand is sinking into the tissues and you are oscillating, moving it, vibrating it in any direction, really. I'm thinking about that. I have a friend, Gary, who is superb at vibration technique. His vibration technique is so fast. It's like, wow, how is that possible? Almost like one of those machines, right?
Full speed.
So those machines, what are they called? The guns, the guns.
Theraguns.
Theraguns.
Yeah,
A lot of the
they're
guns,
vibration.
a lot of the massage equipment machines do vibration technique, right? Okay. So vibration, hand in one place, and we're gonna move it around. And what does that do for you, Giovanni? What's it like? Would you like it faster, slower? I can do it slower.
No, first.
Faster, okay? And then just compare that side of your back to the other side. What does that feel like?
It feels better.
Yeah, right. So I brought awareness here. It's good to loosen the tissues. It's really good to loosen the tissues, okay? But that's different to rubbing. That's what I wanted you to get. Okay, rubbing. When we rub, we're literally frictioning the skin. So we'll do that. We'll do a little bit of rubbing. When have you experienced rubbing? Classically.
At the end.
No, I mean in your life.
When there's
Yes.
Right. How many mums here?
I think I find that quite annoying in a massage.
I'm not talking massage. I'm talking as mums. How many of us rub it better?
Yeah.
Or rub it better, dear. Okay, rub it better. And what does that do when we rub it?
Brings blood to the surface.
Yeah,
Warmth,
we're thinking very comfort, you know.
But yeah,
also
there's a
attention.
neurological benefit because the movement sensors reach the brain before the pain sensors. So in the short term, you get a pain reduction because of that arrival first of the
So you
neurological signal.
preoccupy your
Yes,
mind with
yeah.
something else.
So it will diminish the pain in the short term. So it will a little bit better. It will feel a little better in the short term.
So when we learn seated massage, we do a lot of these techniques clothed, don't we?
We bring
Right.
warmth as well.
Right, so I'm just going to ask him, how does that feel for your whole body now?
It's okay.
It's okay. All right, didn't like it that much. A little bit redder here, more redness going on here. So you like the vibration more?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like the vibration. That's interesting, right? And friction, we can do when do we learn friction in massage school?
Spots.
Yeah. In cross fibre friction, we learn cross fibre friction along the fibres. Yeah, and we use it a lot. And in the fascia course we do the strumming.
There's a lot in the Bowen technique. There's a lot of that.
Lot of little
Lot
bits
of
of
strumming.
friction here and there and strumming. Okay, so we're clear on those things, yeah? Cool, lovely. Next.
Or just to say with the vibration, we can use the whole hand, heel of the hand, knuckles, fingers. We've got some tool vibrations.
There you go.
Some
There's some
varied tools here.
vibration, which is, when does it stop being vibration and become friction?
Yeah, that's because I do like in between. That's what I
Right.
was wondering. I
Yeah.
frequently go in between.
Bit of crossover, yeah.
Yeah.
When does it stop being vibration and become friction? This is where I was saying there are things that are kind of a little bit crossover, as Craig's just said. Okay? So, and also with this, I can very much assess his tissues. All right? So you can have a look, come in closer as well. What moves easily, what doesn't move easily. Okay? So, and as I come in closer, some areas feel fuller, some areas feel emptier. So Kyo Jitsu comes in. We had somebody over the weekend who'd done some acupressure work. He mentioned Kyo and Jitsu in terms of empty and full. And yeah, as I'm palpating, so it's always listening hands as well as doing hands, right? It's like, I'm palpating and I can feel a difference between the right side of his back and the left. Okay?
It's a vibration into the room, I think.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, rocking a baby is, the rocking, we're coming to rocking. We'll talk about that.
So you were saying vibration becomes friction when?
Well, I'm just vibrating with my fingertips. Does that not look a little bit more like cross fibre friction?
Yeah. Is the difference in kind of like intention of what you access?
Maybe it's intention and depth. I would say probably depth for me.
But also there's a little bit, it's a little bit more local. I mean, it is resonating throughout the entire body. There's a little bit more of the localized function, just
In the
observing it,
friction.
and
That's what
having
my
felt
feeling
that.
is, yeah.
Yes, it's a bit more localized.
So these terms get interchanged sometimes, and that's why we're checking with you what you think these things need
There can be assessment
and what
there
you've
can be
learned,
treatment.
because friction also is this. There's friction. It's frictioning the skin, okay? But it's not what I would call friction. I wouldn't call that. I would call that rubbing still. But I am frictioning the skin. With the friction technique we learn, we tend to go deeper into the fibres, okay?
Moving on, so that takes us on then to the oscillation and rocking.
Yeah.
Is there a difference or are they the same?
Yes. What do we know as rocking?
Like rhythmic movement.
I'm loving all the hand movements. So,
Side to
so
side.
can I? Side to side maybe.
Side to side
And
rocking.
I'm seeing from what you're doing, Jill, it seems like a big movement.
It does seem like a big movement.
It seems like a big movement. Okay. So if I start that movement, would this be something like you expect?
Yes.
Okay,
it would
cool.
be, generally,
Okay.
Yes.
So-
That would be a rocking.
So, all right. So rocking, and somebody mentioned rocking babies. So, yeah, rocking. So we might start small. I can do a little bit of rocking here, really gently. Or I can come in and rock the body.
And the body starts to rock, and then you can soften. It's just soften.
Once you've got the
it's-
rhythm,
Yeah.
I'm
just
loving all
feel-
this. So once you've got the rhythm, once you feel the rhythm, how do you feel the rhythm?
Just go with it.
Go with it. Can you see my whole body moving? Okay. How do I start the movement? So let's start again. How do I start the movement? There has to be some volition in there. So I'm kind of pushing away and letting him come back to me. Yeah?
Some momentum, right?
So we're creating
momentum in the body.
a wave of movement, but I'm actually following his rhythm. Okay, so if I slow it down, he still has this rhythm. I'm feeling in. Might go to different places. Might make it bigger. Which ankle was it? That one. Okay, cool. So wherever I go, can you see with rocking, and I think this is important, if I go too far down the body, I've kind of lost some of the momentum in the back, right, in the trunk. I've got a little bit there. Can you see the movement through there? But it's kind of losing it a little bit. So once we get down to, well, knees are okay, still got some movement in here. But once I get down past another joint, I lose some of what, but can you see it's still happening? Look at his head. It's still happening.
It is when you're working on two, it's not when you're
So
working
there's,
on one leg.
you can see that there's crossover in these phrases, aren't there? So it's generally regarded as oscillations a slightly smaller scale
Yes.
of that, but the rocking then starts to go into the bigger movement.
So the
But then there's that in
rocking,
between space where, you know,
where it's crossover.
they're crossing over.
So rocking tends to be, like you said, it's like this bigger movement where we're getting the body's own rhythm working. The oscillation movements, can you see how I might use an oscillation into the spine area? So if we knew that there was an area of stuckness, there's an area of stuckness here, I'm moving into it in a different way, but I might come around this way and move into very much more specifically into that. Really trying to, and here's where you can get really, you can actually begin to hold one area, move another, and by doing that, I'm mobilizing his spine much more.
And just to give an example, I saw Sally's obviously had some experience of this, and so what we're going to be investigating as well is how we are then starting to listen into the tissues to become more dominant with this, okay? And also, if Sally,
So I'm
we'll
going
just
to rock
offer-
up his spine here, just a second. So just to see what happens if I'm, can you see how this is just focusing a little bit more on these areas? All right, cool. I'm not going into it too much. There's loads we can do.
so, but do you want to, we want to just quickly show the pat of cake what isn't?
Oh yeah. Okay, so basically think of the fluid component of the body like a saucer, right? We don't want the fluid to spill over the saucer. We want to keep it, we want to keep with his rhythm, okay? And there are ways to change the rhythm, like I just showed you. You know, I can go into that rhythm in a different way, okay? These are the kind of little subtleties. But what I don't want to do is, I said we create volition, we roll away and get out of the way. So we're feeling into the whole rhythm. What I'm noticing with him is his legs are starting to move more each time I do the rocking movement, okay? Just be aware of that. These are the things to look for, listen for. There's a lot more movement in his legs now. But what I want to show you is the, sorry, Giovanni. Sorry.
This is what we want to avoid.
Okay,
Quite
so
true.
number one, you need to be fluid in your own body. So if I stand rigid, I almost can't do it. If I stand rigid, I can't get that rhythm in his body. So my body has to be moving. And also, if I take my hands off, it interrupts that.
So
Okay.
become like a continuous unit together.
Yeah, we do absolutely
We're tuning into
become
that wave,
very,
yeah.
very in unison. Yeah, so really we don't tend to take our hands off particularly. It's not that you can't, so I'll get him going and I can, there's still a wave there, right? But I wouldn't do that. I would kind of come back slowly. So if you're using rocking and things in your treatments, then it's really nice to come back down to a gentle, and very often if I'm using rocking in my treatment, I will come down. Look at how his legs are moving. Are you all right with your legs? And something's going on in there, isn't it? So, yeah, you all right?
Yeah.
Do you need you need something under that ankle? You're all right.
It depends how long it's gonna be.
No, we're nearly
Okay.
done. We're nearly
No,
done.
no.
So I would come into a very gentle, soft, helping him to feel through his body. So all of his attention now comes into my hand here, okay? Anything else? Yeah, thank you.